Let me ask you something that might change the way you see your day. How valuable is your time really when you look back? Are there moments you wish you could take back? Moments you now realize weren't worth your attention, your energy, your presence? Here's the truth most people avoid. Every single moment in your life is precious. And you only get 24 hours each day to live with purpose. Time doesn't pause. It doesn't rewind. It moves forward with or without you. And the decisions you make on how to use your time, they shape everything: your growth, your peace, your future. If you're constantly occupied with other people's problems, if you're endlessly scrolling through someone else's life, someone else's drama, you are robbing yourself of the one thing you can never get back: time. You're not just distracted, you're trading your future for fragments of noise. Marcus Aurelius, one of Stoicism's greatest minds, once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. This is not just philosophy, it's a wake-up call. You can't control the world, but you can control yourself. So why waste energy worrying about things you can't change when you could be building a better, stronger version of yourself today? I want to walk with you through 6 timeless Stoic principles, 6 ideas that will help you focus inward, reclaim your time, and build a life of clarity and power. But before we begin, take one small action. Leave a comment below with the phrase, "I focus on myself and stop wasting my time." Let that be your first commitment to the journey ahead. Now let's dive in. Principle number 1. The dangers of comparison. We live in a world that bombards us with curated images of success, beauty, and achievement. Scroll through your phone for 5 minutes and you'll see perfect vacations, perfect careers, perfect lives. But most of it, it's staged, manufactured to make you look at yourself and feel less. This is the silent danger of constant comparison. It distracts us from the real work, our own growth. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." This isn't just a quote, it's a command. Stop looking outward, start building inward. Every minute you spend comparing yourself to others is a minute stolen from your own progress. Every time you measure your worth against someone else's highlight reel, you lose sight of your own journey. Time is your most valuable resource, and the more you waste it on comparison, the more you rob yourself of becoming who you could be. We waste time not just physically, but mentally, by allowing envy, self-doubt, and insecurity to cloud our path. Each time we scroll past someone else's success, we risk abandoning our own. And in those moments, we're no longer living for ourselves. We're living in reaction to someone else's definition of achievement. That's the trap. It's subtle, it's seductive, and it's deadly to your energy, your focus, your life. But the path forward? It's not found in chasing external approval. It's found in committing to your own internal growth. Not for money, not for applause, but for your own evolution. Because while the world is shouting distractions, the real work is quiet. It's daily. It's yours. And it begins now. Only when we pause the noise of the world and truly listen to our inner voice, that real growth can begin. Self-awareness is the first and most essential step on the path to transformation. It's not just about improvement, it's about alignment. Because if you don't know who you are, how can you possibly know where to go? You can't build a future on a foundation you haven't examined. Without understanding your current mindset, habits, strengths, and weaknesses, every attempt at progress becomes guesswork. You might be moving fast, but you're not moving forward. The Stoics understood this deeply. Epictetus, another great voice of Stoic philosophy, once said, "Know first who you are, and then adorn yourself accordingly." In other words, discover yourself first before you try to improve anything. Because real strength doesn't begin with action. It begins with awareness. Once you've gained that clarity, once you truly understand where you are, the next step becomes obvious. Set clear, realistic, and meaningful goals. These goals aren't about chasing perfection. They're about momentum, small steps that lead to great progress. It's not about doing everything at once. It's about doing one thing well and building from there. Let's take a real-life example, someone who embodies this philosophy, Oprah Winfrey. When Oprah first entered the television industry in the 1980s, she wasn't a star. She wasn't polished. And she certainly wasn't welcomed by everyone. She faced rejection, criticism, dismissal. But instead of chasing trends or comparing herself to others in the industry, she made a different decision. She chose to focus on her uniqueness. She poured energy into her craft. She honed her voice. She built a show that didn't just entertain, it uplifted. It connected. It healed. Through consistent work, self-awareness, and unwavering vision, she transformed the Oprah Winfrey Show into a global phenomenon, not by copying others, but by owning her own path. And that's what happens when you focus inward. You find power. You create momentum. You become unshakable. So when you set goals, whether personal or professional, don't underestimate the power of small wins. Each tiny victory is proof. You can move forward. You are capable. And yes, progress is possible. And here's the truth. Every time you follow through, no matter how small the step, you're building something deeper than just achievement. You're building confidence. You're reinforcing your belief in yourself. And that kind of belief, it makes comparison unnecessary. Because as you grow, you stop caring who's ahead. You stop measuring your life by someone else's pace. You no longer need validation from others. Why? Because you trust your own process. Because your self-worth now comes from the inside. But don't be fooled, comparison doesn't just waste time. It erodes your sense of self. It quietly chips away at your worth until you start questioning everything. That's why it's so important to focus on your own lane, your own growth, your own milestones. Because the true reward isn't beating others, it's becoming the version of yourself that you were meant to be. So let me ask you something honestly. How much time have you wasted today comparing your life to someone else's? How many moments slipped by while you wished your path looked different? Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the key to living a meaningful life is found not in chasing temporary ideals set by others, but in pursuing the development of our own character. It's time to stop comparing, to stop wasting the most precious moments of your life, and to redirect your energy to the most important project you'll ever work on, yourself. Principle number 2. Embracing progress over perfection. Let's be honest, we've all fallen into the trap of perfectionism at some point. Wanting to look flawless, wanting our work to be flawless, wanting life to feel flawless. But what does this really create? An invisible weight, a pressure that never lets up, and worst of all, it stops us from starting. The Stoics, especially Marcus Aurelius, taught us something different. Progress, not perfection, is the key to peace. It's the secret to momentum. It's the foundation for real success. When you accept that life is messy, imperfect, and constantly in motion, you stop chasing illusions and start building real strength. Because every step forward, no matter how small, is still progress. The first step in this shift, addressing negativity both outside and within. Yes, sometimes your environment may feel toxic. Your co-workers may be bitter. Your family may not understand you. Your situation might feel limiting. But Stoicism teaches us not to let external circumstances dictate our inner state. Imagine this. You're in a tense meeting. You're criticized unfairly. Your instinct is to lash out, to defend. But instead you choose silence. Not from weakness, but from strength. You pause. You breathe. You focus on what you can control: your response, your energy, your thoughts. That's real power. And it doesn't stop with external negativity. Some of the most dangerous battles happen inside our own heads. Thoughts like, "I'm not good enough. I always fail. I'll never get it right." These aren't facts. They're mental traps. Invisible barriers built by fear and self-doubt. And they only lose power when you shine a light on them. So instead of saying, "I can't do this," say, "I'm still learning. I can improve every day." That shift, it rewires your self-image. It builds confidence from the inside out. Another critical element of progress: letting go of the past. Too often, we carry invisible baggage, old mistakes, painful memories, resentment toward people who hurt us. We think holding on gives us power. But all it really does is weigh us down. Forgiveness isn't about letting someone off the hook. It's about releasing yourself from the grip of pain, so you can finally move forward, unchained. And one more essential piece of the puzzle: build positive habits. Surround yourself with uplifting energy. Read, move, reflect, practice gratitude even when life gets hard. Especially when life gets hard. Let me share a powerful example. J.K. Rowling. Before becoming the best-selling author of Harry Potter, she hit rock bottom. She faced poverty, unemployment, and countless rejections. Publishers told her she wasn't good enough. Doors kept closing. But instead of giving in to despair, she held onto her one powerful habit: writing. She wrote through the darkness. She built discipline, page by page. And through it all she practiced gratitude. Even in her lowest moments, she found something to appreciate. It was that mindset, that persistence, that self-belief that turned her rock bottom into a launch pad. Because progress doesn't come from perfect conditions. It comes from consistent action, fueled by belief. And you have that power to dreams, and because of that mindset, J.K. Rowling became one of the best-selling authors in the world. But here's the final key to making steady Progress one that separates those who dream from those who do. Discipline and patience. Success rarely comes in a straight line. The road is full of obstacles, unexpected turns, and long, quiet seasons. But if you remain disciplined, if you commit to showing up, even when it's hard, you will move forward. Instead of obsessing over perfection, focus on consistent steps. One small goal at a time. One habit at a time. One improvement at a time. Perfection may be a fantasy, but progress is real. And it's always worth celebrating. You don't need to be flawless to be fulfilled, but you do need to be consistent. You do need to keep improving, day by day. So stay focused. Build strong habits. Be disciplined with your time. Because discipline doesn't just shape your future, it protects you from wasting the present. We'd love to hear your perspective. What's one way you've embraced progress over perfection in your own life? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Principle number 3. Rejecting distractions. Let's talk about something that's quietly stealing your life. Distractions. Imagine for a moment that time is a priceless, irreplaceable asset. How would you treat it? Would you guard it more fiercely? Would you spend it with more intention? Marcus Aurelius might answer, every moment you let slip away without purpose is a moment you can never get back. That's the weight of time. Once it's gone, it's gone. No refunds, no do-overs. In our modern world, distractions are more powerful and more prevalent than ever. Social media pings, endless notifications, email after email, streaming content that never stops. They don't just steal your attention, they drain your energy, sabotage your focus, and dilute your purpose. But here's what the Stoics taught us to live a meaningful life. You must become a strict guardian of your time. When you protect your time, you attract people who respect your time. You send a powerful message. I value myself too much to waste this moment. So how do we start? Step 1. Identify the distractions. Get brutally honest about what's eating away at your day. Are you checking your phone every 10 minutes? Saying yes to meetings that mean nothing? Letting unimportant emails hijack your focus? These are the time thieves of the modern world, and they're sneaky. Step 2. Set clear boundaries. Choose when you check email. Choose when you scroll. Don't let those things choose you. Just like you schedule meetings and workouts. Schedule time for deep, uninterrupted focus. Guard it. Defend it. Because effective time management isn't about filling every second with busy work, it's about increasing the quality of your time. If you're working on something that requires real thought, you need uninterrupted space to go deep, to think clearly, to do something meaningful. And that's what Stoicism reminds us. Time is not just hours passing on a clock. Time is the canvas on which you create your life. Every hour used with intention, a stroke of art. One of the most powerful ways to improve your time management. Habits and structure. Just like lifting weights strengthens your body, training your schedule strengthens your mind. Start small. Even dedicating just 15 minutes a day to a focused, uninterrupted task that truly matters can completely shift your productivity and mindset. Over time, these small focused moments, those 15 minutes of clarity, that single task completed without distractions, start to stack up And suddenly, you realize you've built a habit, a powerful habit that begins to shape every corner of your life, your work, your mindset, your future. But there's another piece of the puzzle: the people around you. Because no matter how disciplined you are, if you're surrounded by people who drain your energy, who pull you away from your priorities, you're fighting an uphill battle. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus warned us about this centuries ago. He taught that the company we keep isn't just a social matter, it's a spiritual one. Your friends, colleagues, even family, they either propel you forward or quietly hold you back. If you're constantly interrupted, constantly drained, constantly distracted, it might not be you. It might be who you're letting in. That's why setting firm boundaries isn't cold. It's wise. It's necessary. When you learn to say no to people who distract you, you create room for people who challenge you, inspire you, support your mission. But it's not just people who bring negativity. Sometimes the real enemy is closer. It's in your own mind. That voice that whispers, "You're not good enough. That'll never work. Why even try?" Those are the mental intruders that sabotage your time and hijack your goals. The Stoics teach us, you are not your thoughts. You are the one who observes them and chooses which ones to follow. By removing these negative influences, whether it's toxic people, draining environments, or self-destructive thinking, you free up space, mental space, emotional space, creative space. And in that space, growth begins. Sometimes, protecting your time means having hard conversations. It might mean setting firmer boundaries with a co-worker who constantly undermines you, or stepping back from a friend who only shows up with drama. In extreme cases, yes, it means walking away altogether. But understand this. It's not about being harsh. It's about honoring your future. Because your time is your life. And when you guard it fiercely, you're not just avoiding distraction, you're declaring to the world, "I value myself." Marcus Aurelius said it best. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. That's how serious time is. It's not infinite. It's not guaranteed. And how you spend it reflects who you are and who you're becoming. When you master your time, you master your path. And that brings us to the next essential step, principle number 4. The value of focusing on yourself. So, let me ask you, what would your life look like if you focused entirely on yourself? Now wait, this isn't a call to selfishness. It's an invitation. A deep, honest call to reclaim your time, your energy, your power. Because the truth is, when you focus on yourself, you stop living reactively and start living intentionally. At the very heart of personal growth lies one principle: clarity of goals. And these goals, they're not just dreams, they're training grounds. Think of yourself like an athlete preparing for a major event. Every workout, every repetition is shaping you. Each small action builds your mental stamina. Each disciplined day strengthens your resolve. Each challenge you face prepares you for the next one. Likewise, when you commit to a meaningful goal and stick to it every single day, you're not just doing things, you're becoming someone. You're building resilience. You're honing your strengths. You're growing into the version of yourself you were meant to be. For example, let's say you want to learn a new skill. Maybe it's programming. Maybe public speaking. At first, It feels intimidating. You tell yourself it's too complex, too far from your current reality. But here's the truth. Consistent effort over time turns the impossible into your new normal. Like sculpting stone. Day by day, chip by chip, you start to see the form take shape. But before you build anything worthwhile, you need to clear the debris. That means eliminating what is unnecessary, toxic influences, pointless distractions, endless commitments that don't serve your future. Think of it like clearing a messy construction site before building a dream home. Take Jane, for instance, a driven professional juggling a demanding job and her personal dreams. She realized something needed to change. So she started saying no. No to every weekend social event that drained her energy. No to the hours lost in mindless scrolling. No to the habits that pulled her away from her goals. In that space she reclaimed, she earned a new certification. And with it, she unlocked a promotion. Jane's story is more than impressive. It's proof. Decluttering your life is often the first step toward elevating it. But once you've cleared the noise, what next? The answer: keep your mind sharp. Stay curious. Never stop learning. This is the mindset of growth. Read. Listen to podcasts. Explore new ideas. Feed your brain like it's the most powerful asset you own, because it is. Imagine a business leader who dedicates just 30 minutes each day to reading about their industry. They stay current, they adapt fast, and when the next big challenge hits, they're already 10 steps ahead. Why? Because curiosity and learning aren't optional anymore, they're survival skills. But let's be real, all of this sounds great when you're motivated. What about the days you're not? That's where discipline comes in. Discipline is the invisible hand that keeps you moving when motivation disappears. Picture a student preparing for a huge exam. They don't wake up every day excited, but their habits. Those quiet, consistent study sessions, they stack up, and when test day comes, they're ready. Discipline isn't a cage. It's a compass. It keeps you moving forward when the path isn't clear. And right alongside discipline is another powerful virtue: patience. Because let's face it, growth never happens in a straight line. There will be plateaus, delays, moments when you feel like nothing's working. But think of a gardener planting a tree. For months, they water it, care for it, and see nothing. No visible change. But beneath the soil, roots are forming, a hidden network of strength is growing, and when the time is right, that tree will break through. Your growth is just like that. Unseen progress is still progress. And if you only measure by immediate results, you'll miss the miracle happening below the surface. So don't rush. Don't get frustrated. Be like the gardener, trust the process. Even more important, enjoy the journey. Yes, we all want the finish line, the promotion, the recognition, the transformation. But the real reward is who you become along the way. The discipline, the resilience, the daily habits that no one sees. Think of a marathon runner. Sure, crossing the finish line is powerful, but ask them what truly mattered. It's the miles of early morning training, the moments they didn't quit when no one was watching. That's where the victory lives. And through all of this, through every challenge, every win, every hard-earned lesson, there's one resource you must protect above all: Time is the only currency you can never earn back. And yet, we spend it like it's unlimited, scrolling, complaining, saying yes to things that don't matter. But what if you treated time like money? Would you still give it away so easily when you start treating time as your most valuable investment? Your life changes. Suddenly, your choices become clearer. You stop wasting hours on what doesn't align. You start building days that reflect your values. Let's say health is your priority. You schedule workouts. You prep meals. You move with intention. If family matters to you, you carve out time. No distractions, just presence. These aren't big changes. They're deliberate ones. And they speak volumes about who you are becoming. And here's one final key, one skill that will protect your time and transform your life. Learning to say no. Just one word. But it builds walls around your peace. It clears your path. And it tells the world, my time matters. So picture this. Someone asks you to take on another project. You already have too much. What do you say? Work that doesn't align with your long-term aspiration. And when you politely say no, you're not just avoiding extra work, you're choosing focus. You're reinforcing clarity and building self-respect brick by brick. Because here's the truth, setting boundaries isn't a luxury. It's a foundational pillar of personal growth. Think of it like this. Boundaries create a safe, focused zone where you can thrive. They protect your time, they guard your energy, and they allow you to do your best work uninterrupted. Take the example of a freelancer. They decide their own schedule, but without boundaries, their day can quickly spiral into chaos. Clients calling at odd hours, emails pinging non-stop, rest disappearing. Now imagine that same freelancer drawing a line. I work from 9 to 5. After that, I rest. Suddenly, their productivity improves. Their personal life flourishes. Their stress shrinks. That's the power of a clear boundary. Because without boundaries, your energy becomes public property, and your focus is constantly hijacked by outside demands. In the end, the value of focusing on yourself can't be overstated. It's priceless, but it requires 3 things: intention, discipline, and courage. The courage to prioritize your future over fleeting distractions, the discipline to stay the course, and the intention to live with purpose. Let Marcus Aurelius be your guide here. His teachings remind us that the path to greatness is not paved with noise, but with calm, consistent action. So ask yourself, how do you protect your peace? How do you defend your growth? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Share your strategies in the comments below. Let's inspire and learn from one another. Because at the end of the day, setting boundaries isn't just a personal decision. It's a public statement. It tells the world, I respect my time, my energy, and my potential. Now, let's move forward. Principle number 5. Resilience through self-focus. In this lifelong journey of growth, one of the most liberating shifts you can make is trading the chase for perfection for the commitment to progress. It sounds simple, but it's profound. This shift in mindset does something powerful. It removes the crushing weight of perfection and replaces it with steady momentum. And that momentum, it builds resilience. Let me ask you, are you pushing yourself toward impossible standards, or are you allowing yourself to grow little by little? Because when you focus on daily progress instead of impossible outcomes, you create a mindset that adapts, learns, and endures. Think of someone training for a marathon. They don't obsess over winning the race. Instead, they celebrate the milestones. Running a little farther today, beating yesterday's pace, showing up on days when motivation is nowhere to be found. Each small step strengthens them. Each win builds confidence. Over time, those little victories add up not just physically, but mentally. Because when you view life through the lens of progress, failure loses its power. It's no longer a dead end. It becomes a lesson. In Stoic philosophy, failure isn't shameful, it's a tool for transformation. Marcus Aurelius taught us that when mistakes happen, we should strip away the drama and ask the real questions. What can I learn here? How can I improve? What will I do differently next time? That mindset of curiosity over criticism, it preserves your energy. And more importantly, it gives you the tools to keep going stronger than before. And in a world that constantly changes, that adaptability is everything. Because life will throw you curveballs. Plans will collapse, deadlines will shift, and perfectionists will panic. But those focused on progress, they pivot, they adjust, they find new paths. Like a professional working on a perfectly crafted project only for external forces to flip everything upside down. Instead of falling apart, they reassess. They focus on the essentials. They find creative solutions. And in the end, they produce something even better than expected. That's resilience. And it's born from one choice: to prioritize steady progress over impossible perfection. But there's one more key ingredient to this kind of resilience, and we'll explore it next. Embracing feedback. What do you say? You smile, breathe, and reply, "No, thank you. That won't work for me right now." That's it. No guilt. No lengthy explanation. Just clarity. Because here's what they won't tell you: saying no isn't rejection. It's redirection. It's the conscious act of choosing your future over someone else's urgency. And every time you say no to something that doesn't serve you, you're saying yes to the things that truly matter. You're not closing a door, you're protecting the one that leads to your growth. Remember this: every yes you give without intention is a no to something more important. Your workout, your reading time, that peaceful hour to just breathe and think. Saying no isn't selfish. It's self-respect in action. And when you start honoring your time this way, everything begins to shift. You gain focus. You gain space. You gain momentum. Think about the most successful, grounded people you know. They're not overwhelmed. They're not constantly apologizing. They're not always available. Why? Because they've mastered the art of deliberate living. They don't let distractions define their days. They don't hand out their time like candy. They move with precision because they know their time is power. And let's get honest, you can't become who you're meant to be if you're constantly pulled in 10 different directions. You can't build discipline when your calendar belongs to everyone but you. So from now on, guard your time like it's gold, because it is. Let your schedule reflect your values. Let your decisions echo your priorities. And let your silence when you choose not to answer every request speak for you. Because this is how transformation happens. Not in loud declarations, but in quiet, consistent choices. And that brings us to the last and perhaps most powerful principle. Number 6. Turn discipline into freedom. It may sound like a contradiction. Discipline, freedom. But look closely, and you'll see the two are deeply connected. When you live without discipline, life happens to you, you're reactive, you're scattered, you're constantly behind. But when you live with discipline, you regain control. You decide what matters. You decide when to act. You move with intention, not impulse. And in that control lies your freedom. Just imagine waking up each day with clarity, not overwhelmed, not stressed, but focused. You know what you're building. You know what to say yes to. And more importantly, you know what deserves a no. That kind of life. It's not a dream. It's a choice. And it starts now. So ask yourself, how will you protect your time starting today? How will you show the world and yourself that your life is yours to design? Because once you do, you won't just be managing time. You'll be mastering it. And with that, you'll unlock something most people never find: peace, power, purpose, control. Is not about dominating the world around you. It's about mastering the world within. And when you focus relentlessly on your own journey, you're not just existing, you're living with intention. Committing to your dreams becomes a sacred act, a quiet but powerful declaration. My goals matter. My path is valid. My time is precious. But to walk this path, you need something deeper than ambition. You need a mindset forged in your core values, not in the fleeting applause of others. Think of the marathon runner not chasing trophies, not comparing strides, but running with one mission: to beat yesterday's self, step by step, breath by breath. He doesn't glance sideways. He looks inward, and in the end, he finishes the race not just with strength, but with dignity. That's what it means to own your journey, because life, it will test you. There will be whispers of doubt, people who don't believe in your vision, failures that sting, temptations that say, give up, it's easier. But each of those obstacles, they're not detours. They're the way forward. As Marcus Aurelius taught, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. The mountain you climb today, it becomes the foundation of your strength tomorrow. So stop racing the world. Start building your legacy. You don't need validation from others, you need alignment with your values. Because when your choices reflect your soul, you no longer chase meaning, you live it. Like the quiet gardener who spends decades tending to a single tree, he doesn't care for recognition. He cares for the roots. And when the blossoms come, he smiles. Not because people applaud, but because he knows he's stayed the course. That is your path too. There will be moments of exhaustion, days you question it all. But if you stay patient, if you move forward with discipline and belief, your journey will bloom. So today, ask yourself, am I giving my time to what truly matters? Or am I handing it away for free? Because once you choose to stop wasting time and focus on yourself, your life begins to shift in quiet, powerful ways. You stop reacting, you start creating. You stop pleasing, you start living. And every step you take in alignment with your values becomes a step toward a life that's not just successful, but deeply, soulfully meaningful. Now it's your turn. Drop a comment. What in your life feels like the biggest time waster? And how will you take it back? If this video spoke to you, write 1 in the comments. If you think we can do better, write 0. We're always listening and growing together. Don't forget to like this video if you found value. Share it with someone who needs to reclaim their time. And subscribe to the Stoic Capsule channel so you never miss an episode of Inner Strength and Wisdom. A new video will appear on your screen now. Go ahead, click, and continue your journey toward discipline, peace, and power. We'll see you in the next one.